This is for you.
What is going on? Philadelphia. What is good? I don't even know how to start this. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Brandon. What is going on, man? It is one of those days. We were saying off the stream, it's a random Monday. We wake up and there's a bunch of news. So if you do not know, now you know. Somebody, you better ask somebody. The Philadelphia Eagles have fired their head coach, Doug Pederson. I did do a video earlier going over a little bit of my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts, though. Brandon.
Let them out. You can go first. I'm always going first. Let them out, man. Let them out.
It's one of those things, man. Like, not to sound too ranty, but it's like how we should have been gone first. I think that's the first thing that comes to my head, is that this is probably the worst case scenario of things that could have happened. I've said before that it was most likely going to be, Doug or Howie. And I've said before that I would rather it be Howie, just because I feel like Doug could right the ship in some way, and he's a football mind. And I feel like Howie's been the common denominator of a lot of the Eagles' problems. Apparently they chose, they obviously thought I was wrong. Sometimes I am. But Lurie had just a dismal press conference. He doesn't talk much, and when he does, it's usually about something. And his press conference was just. What are your thoughts? Before I get too far into this, because I can go on for days. But what are your thoughts? How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, like you said, it's just we woke up. It was a Monday. I even hit you up saying, maybe we should just go live later, just briefly talk about the drama that's kind of going on, not knowing that within a couple hours later, we were going to get hit with big news that Doug Pederson was fired or is fired, whatever way you want to look at it. But, it was tough. We knew going into the offseason that, all right, who's going to be a scapegoat? Maybe it will be Jim Schwartz. And then he says, well, I'm going to contemplate retirement. Part of me feels like it's more than just that. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I think there was a feeling that things are about to go down under. And so Jim Schwartz leaves, and then Doug Pederson comes up with his coaches that he wants to promote and everything like that. Once I saw that list, I knew, and that was this morning, I knew something was going to happen. And little did we know, boom, he was fired. And I think it sucks. I think that his resume itself, like, even though I kind of want to see a fresh start, it's interesting, right? It's kind of just the entertainment of things. It's interesting. Like, we're going to be able to go into next season and be like, what's new? What is this offseason going to look like? How is he going to look come draft? Everything is going to be different between an technically head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. We have no coordinators at this point. So, except for special teams. So it does bring that drama, that entertainment to us Eagle fans. But if you look at some of the other guys that were with their establishments, like a Marvin Lewis or some of these other guys that at least were given a shot after a bad season, we didn't give Doug that. Even though last year the season wasn't the greatest, at least we still made the playoffs, right? And then this year, we almost made the playoffs despite our record and everything. And it was just a bad year overall. And anyone could have used a reset during a COVID season where you don't have the rookie mini camps, where you don't have OTAs, when you don't have preseason games. You don't have any of that. And so you would have thought this year would have been like, all right, if you were bad, you were bad, but at least you can come back next year with a full season, hopefully. And Doug didn't get it. I don't know how to feel about it. It's like part of me wants to, like I said, kind of get excited about like what's going to happen. It's kind of like just like a new book that you get. But then at the same time, I feel bad. I feel like maybe, I don't know if he was the reason. I don't know.
What could have we done? What could have we done? I feel like the kid in the ugly divorce right now. What could have we done? Hey, I said earlier, and I've said all this season, we have not been happy with what we saw out of Doug Pederson. And it culminates. How do you say that word? I think I said it right the second time. Either way, it all ends up in this. This is where we at now. so now it's an ugly season. Jeffrey Lurie said that it came from a miscommunication or different views on where the franchise is right now. So when he was talking about it, he kind of gave the implication and the notion, to me at least, that he sees this team rebuilding for the next couple years. He kept saying the 2 or 3 year window. So I don't know. I don't know what that, my Siri just popped up. So I'm afraid it's going to like pop up some random stuff. All right. We should be good now. You never know with these Siri things, but anyways, so I don't know what that means for this organization. I don't know what that means as far as the head coaching search goes. So Let me ask you this. What do you see this organization, or where do you see this organization at? Do you think we are a couple players, a good draft away, or is this, a couple year thing, or are we going to be bad for a while?
It could be a draft away, right? It may be our young guys that didn't get an opportunity to get out on the field. They get this whole offseason to work out. They get this whole offseason to sharpen their craft. They got to see what the NFL looked like. And who knows? Maybe some of those younger guys can step up on defense, especially with the linebackers, the Kevon Wallace. I know maybe some people aren't too hyped about him, but he can't be worse than Jalen Mills. And when he at least gets in the game, when Jalen has to go down a corner, I don't really see him getting burnt to, like, at least I haven't. Maybe other people can show me some film because I must have missed something. Maybe they just didn't throw it his way. But get these young guys that we've already drafted, get them the offseason, get them time to work out. And it really all depends on how this draft goes, what we do with that 6th pick, and if he can pull out some miracle where we can get past this cap situation and able to even get one player in free agency. I think it can be. I think we could have the potential to have a decent offense, to be honest, if the scheme is there. If the scheme is there and our players develop. I mean, the wide receivers coach, people have been raving about him, that he's been pretty good. It's Aaron Moorhead or something like that, or Aaron, I forget his name, but
the wide receiver coach.
Yeah. Okay, good. If we can scheme these guys open, if we can use them for their strengths, if we can throw screens to a guy like Rager and let him get into open space, like let him be the creator. I mean, if he can return punts, that's kind of like what those kind of players can do. Get these guys and do reverses, all these different things that couldn't happen, and it just wasn't happening this past season. And when Doug did call it, like, once, it worked, and then never went back to it. So I think there's an opportunity there to use these young guys on our offense to really do pretty well this season. It all depends on how everything goes and who we get as a coach.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It basically depends on everything that happens. But, I mean, that's how it goes down, though. Everybody's in here saying Deuce and everything for head coach Eric Bieniemy. I keep on saying Bellamy. Eric Bieniemy, I'm seeing a lot of no promoting from within. And, you're seeing a bunch of different Deuce. I'm seeing Stoutland's name in here. I'm not reading totally. I'm just kind of skimming through. But there's going to be a lot of names that are going to be said. Like I said on Twitter, I think I put it on Facebook and everything. I want Bieniemy. I would love to have Bieniemy. And I would love to have Larry Johnson, I believe I believe Larry Johnson is the guy I said in the chat. Either way, he's the Ohio State defensive lineman, assistant head coach as well over there. But he's coached some dogs. Like, when I tell you from Chase Young to like Michael Bennett, I believe, is like the track history. He got like 13 first All-American type, I would love to see him instill some of that dog in the defensive line that we have. And he has a lot of responsibility over there at Ohio State. That's not a slouch of an organization or of a program. So I would love to see him at defensive coordinator. And they are playing tonight. So, a little bit of a segue on that. But, yeah, I would love to see him. I would love to see Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy is like the popular choice right now. Maybe Lincoln Riley I'm hearing a lot of right now. But my thing is, and, I go back to Lurie's press conference because he's not changing who Howie Roseman is. If anything, I feel like that press conference just made me feel like he has more confidence in Howie Roseman. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we're going to get these guys that expect to have a lot of control. I feel like if Eric Bieniemy comes over here, at best, he might be cool like Doug was the first year, where it's like, everything's out of his hands. He's just trying to learn how to be a head coach. But you're going to run into this problem again. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just get nervous when we start throwing these random names around. But, maybe we do get somebody good.
I just hope that whoever we get is an alpha. I appreciate the guys that can be one of the guys and is cool with people but we need someone that is going to hold players accountable, especially a guy like Carson Wentz if he's going to stay on our roster. We can't have someone that's going to like be pity for him and just kind of be like, oh, you got it next time, buddy. Like, we need someone that, like, at practice, if they false start, they're running a couple laps or something. I don't know what they do at practice in the pros, but someone that's just an alpha all the way around. And I don't know, is it Doug didn't have the power, or maybe he would have had the power if they liked the choices he was going to make? Because I feel like the people he wanted to keep at one point, they were like, nah. And us fan bases were like, get them out of here anyways at those points. And then to promote a guy like Chase, whatever his name is, to from the quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator. Press Taylor. I don't know. You said Chase Young, and it was just like, that's the first thing that popped in. Yeah, Press Taylor, when everyone's been saying how bad especially Carson looked, digressing from how he was even 2 years ago to now. And it's just, why would it just screamed, it just showed like, all right, I want to be out of here. At least put Deuce there or something. Like, I feel like everyone's looking over him and it's a disservice to him. He's been with the organization for a while. I don't know. Does he want to be a head coach? I mean, those are things that we're going to have to see if he actually is there for an interview and they pass up on him. Eventually he's going to leave.
I mean, will he even be here tomorrow? That's going to be the question for everybody right now. Realistically, like, I joke, I say it jestfully, but it's very true right now. Who's going to be here tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. And especially if you're going to get a head coach, the only power they're probably going to have is their coaching staff. Right. And even Doug didn't have full control of what his coaching staff is. He did bring in a lot of his guys, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these people have been layovers, if you want to say. So I'm going to get to some of these comments because I'm falling behind. But shout out to Philly fan all day. I will get on. We're going to drop the link in a little bit. I just want to rant a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get the chat buzzing a little bit. Shout out to Infamous 2K. Shout out to DC Andy, says get Eric and let him control what players he wants to play. That's going to be big. That's where it all lies. That's if you can bring, just like Doug couldn't bring in good offensive coordinators because they wanted to play calls, call plays. It's going to be very hard for you as an organization to bring in a young rising star of a head coach a la Sean McVay, you know what I'm saying? Or even a Doug Pederson right now, where he is in his career, and tell them, you got to listen to Howie, though. Howie's going to make all the final calls. So that, I mean, what do you think? I
don't think that's going to be the case. I hope not. I hope that's not the case, that they're going to try to lure someone in to be a great coach. Like, oh, but by the way, you got to listen to the non-football dude that sits in the office. I don't know. I don't know.
I agree. I would hope that you're not going to do that. I would hope that you're going to be smart about this. You know what I'm saying? Right. But Jeffrey Lurie, they asked him, they asked Jeffrey Lurie in the press conference. They were like, do you feel like you've gotten too involved this year as far as, decision-making goes? And he says he doesn't. He says that he's been the same. To quote him, he was like, I've been involved in the same way for the past 20 plus years or 25 plus years. Do you think he's becoming a little bit overbearing? Because I feel like he has been a little bit more in the news headlines than you would want your owner to be. I understand the turmoil that we've been in and the type of season it's been, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think this has been kind of like an outlier season, right? COVID, the Carson Wentz debacle, the bad record, the your defense isn't playing well, but your offense is, and the vice versa. It's just like everything that could go wrong for Philly this year. And then on top of that, still being in contention to win the East. Like there is just so much going on this season that it was just a depressing season. And it kind of called for maybe Lurie to be seen more and heard more this past season than other seasons. But at the end of the day, I mean, he still doesn't have like his own talk radio show like Jerry Jones or something. But unless he's like the secret Jerry Jones, right? Where he's like the quiet, like he still has mad control like Jerry Jones, but he's just not super vocal about it. I mean, you have the feeling that eventually all these 32 owners are pretty much the same kind of egotistical, super competitive guys that are out there because they're trying to win games in order to make more money. You're not going to make a lot of money if your team stinks and they're losing all the time. So you have a feeling that almost all these owners have their foot in almost everything that's going on, and they're not just saying, all right, we hired you, now you handle it, and I'm going to sit back and just watch the game from my press box and hope for the best. Like, I'm assuming these owners have a lot to say in their organizations. And just for everything that kind of went down this season, it just looked like it was a mess. Needless to say, it was a mess.
Oh, it was a mess. And it's still going to continue to be a mess. So shout out to everybody that is in the chat, everybody that's in the live. We're at like 14 people right now. Love you guys. Just to say this real quick before I'm gonna go through all these comments, I promise, and then we'll drop the link. It's going to be one of those nights, Brandon. Let's just buckle in. It's going to be one of those nights. But we do, before I say it, and, I'm going to say this again. If you guys are excited about Doug, leaving, but you are still happy, are still on the Fire Howie train, we do have the Fire Howie merchandise available. If you guys want that, all you got to do is go to teespring.com/QB Factory. QB Factory. And then if you want to, just be on the train of Dumb Doug. Doug is, we got the Dumb Doug shirts available as well. So we're going to get back to these, comments. I have to do it. You have to do it. So Infamous 2K says, Deuce for head coach. Y'all seen what Malcolm Jenkins said about Deuce? And I'm going to batch these comments together because they kind of go together. And he says, no, Infamous, no more promoting. We're then done with that from me. So let me get your opinion on Deuce. And because I know me and you have talked about this, but let the people know what you think about Deuce and then what you think about just the in-house promotions in general.
Well, I mean, we haven't really promoted an in-house head coach or a defensive coordinator. It's not like Jim Schwartz was kicking it on the DBacks coach and was like, we're going to promote you to defensive coordinator. Doug Pederson was on the Chiefs. Chip Kelly was on Oregon. Before that was Andy Reid for a long time. So it's just like, yeah, I get that you don't want to promote with him because you want something fresh. But Deuce Staley can be fresh. He's a running back first. He was a running back. He wasn't a quarterback. He wasn't a backup. He was a starter. The guy was one of the great Eagles running backs. And he's been loyal to this organization. I'm sure he has similar philosophies in a sense because he's been able to learn from guys like Andy Reid and guys like Doug Pederson and stuff. And I'm sure he picked up on that. But if a guy like Malcolm Jenkins, who doesn't speak lies, really, the guy is going to tell you what it is. And if he's out there saying every time a guy like Deuce Staley stood up and was talking and everyone was attentive and everyone respected the dude, then that you got to take that into consideration because you can come and get a college coach, and that might not work. Or you can get an Eric Bieniemy and then come in and might not mesh with the people inside the locker room. But, Deuce does. Deuce has been there. I have not heard one player ever bash Deuce, any player that's left or in the organization. Every running back has had great things to say. And there's been times where a guy like Jay Ajayi or someone just like that left the organization could be like, oh, all the coaches stunk or something. But no, like all these guys love Deuce. And I feel like passing up on him would be a disservice. Instead of just interviewing him just to be like, oh, well, we interviewed a black guy, guys, like, and then we're going to hire this dude. So
I don't know why. Whenever you say something like even slightly controversial, I love it. I don't know why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But seriously, it's like, if you're really considering him, like, make him be a real contender instead of just picking some random dude, especially if it's not Eric Bieniemy. I swear, if it's like someone like, oh, the Eagles are bringing in Adam Gase, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind that we would choose that guy, or at least give the guy the opportunity to even present himself over a Deuce Staley.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I agree to a certain extent. I like Deuce, and if you're gonna get Deuce, to me, it's another. How do I put this nicely? It's like you're basically you're setting up the next scapegoat, because you already said as an owner that you are prepared to be a bad team these next couple of years. You're ready to retool this franchise, get younger, in his words, right? So you're looking for a coach that's either going to be here for the long haul, in that, which Deuce might be that guy, or you're looking for someone that's just kind of going to be here for the next 2 years. You're looking for what's the guy name that played for the Colts while they tried to tank. His last name was like Painter or something that.
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't know his name. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that can just kind of be a space, filler for that time. And I hate to do that to Deuce, because I feel like we've been playing Deuce. But
if you're trying to get younger,
your point, before you go, I'm sorry. And to your point, with the whole, interviewing him because he's black thing, that's the only reason he got brought up. To the people that, are running with the narrative that he brought him up, that he's going to be a coach. He did say after the fact that he was asked, about African-American coaches and Deuce, he was coaxed into that answer. So I don't want people watching, or Philadelphia fans in general, just to get like some crazy notion that he's like on the top of their list, because I doubt that he is at this point. But I would love to see it, but I just kind of want to give the narrative behind it, because I've seen a lot of like headlines like, oh, he's talking about he's going to be the next head coach, and it's not necessarily what he said. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just with quarterbacks, yeah, you can have a bridge. I feel like it would do a disservice, especially if you're trying to get younger, to try to find a bridge coach. Like, you need to find a guy that, like you said, is in it for the long haul, because if you're trying to get younger, that means you're going to have younger players in spurts throughout the next couple of years. And if you're teaching these younger guys one thing, and next thing you know, in 2 years, they have to learn something completely different, then you're going to run back into the cycle of everyone trying to learn and everyone trying to adjust. And then you're going to be like, well, this year they weren't that good because they were adjusting to the new coach. Whereas if you just are starting to get younger and start to bring in those younger guys, at least everyone's learning the same thing over and over again for the next couple of years. If you really believe it's going to be a couple of years before we're that good again.
Facts.
Or competing.
And DC Andy says, Eric said he's not looking for a job until he finds a good opportunity. Who wants to deal with a QB controversy and a GM that can't draft? Philly fans are not going to give him time. That's another thing that kind of worries me, is that our fan base is we're very vocal, to say the least. So, it might be rough for anybody trying to come up in that.
Yeah. Doug didn't have a good first year. They kind of stunk.
True.
Yeah, actually, they did.
And one man's QB controversy is one man's gold mine. Somebody,
right.
Eric Bieniemy might see something beautiful in both of them, or value at least in one of them, and you know what I'm saying, an all-star in the other. So we can't.
I mean, like you said, Jeffrey Lurie did say, or what I heard was that essentially he was alluding to that a new coach can come in and like one of the quarterbacks, and the other one could be a great asset.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I don't see asset as a great team player. I see asset as we can get something back for that player. So if a new coach comes in and might see something in Wentz and wants to work on Wentz because they want to, quote unquote, fix him and be known to be that quarterback guru that can fix anybody, Jalen Hurts might be out of here, because I don't know how you still, no matter who comes in, or if it's Deuce promoted, how you keep both these quarterbacks. I really don't.
No, that's a fact. I mean, it's going to be very interesting, bro. Like, I feel like I've been saying interesting on these lives since week 13, something like that. We were like really out of the playoffs. I was just like, it's going to be interesting, Brandon. It's going to be interesting. Be more careful says Deuce or Stout will be head coach because Howie wants to keep control. I would not even be surprised by that. I would not be surprised if we hired some random guy that coached at UMass. Like, the things that he said and the things that we've done as an organization throughout this whole year have baffled me. So at this point, man, Brandon, go throw in your resume because I don't know what they're looking
Hey,
for, but you might be it.
I played
You
a little
might be
corner. I could be a D-backs coach and promote myself from within. But
exactly. Just wear a Philly t-shirt when you go. That's all I ask.
I don't see a guy like Deuce though being able to be like kind of a chump in a sense. I mean, you have to remember some of these guys they played in the NFL and they have that personality too. That like, hey, if I don't believe what you're saying, maybe I'm gonna fight back with it, and maybe that's what they need. Maybe Doug didn't fight back as much, and if he tried it, maybe it was just to the point that he would it could have been something that developed over time, right? When Doug first got there, you're the new head coach, you kind of listen, and then he kind of played that role and was never trying to be the leader alpha until toward the end. And maybe at that point they were just used to how Doug was and his alpha. I don't know. I don't know if Doug is an alpha, and I know I keep saying that, but it's true. You need guys that can tell these guys what's up, and that could be management too.
Philly the podcast. We will be letting you know what alpha means. We will have an in-depth video explaining exactly what that definition is, just for you guys wondering. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I agree.
Hey, you never know.
I agree. We need somebody that's going to take over and do their job. That's the thing. You know, I hate to quote the great Bill Belichick, but we just need people that are going to do their job. So we're going to start letting people in. We got a couple people already waiting. So let's get to it, right? Let's get to it. You ready? You excited?
I'm excited. Yes, sir. Who's number one?
That's his excitement. He said, "Who's next?" All right, so we got my guy, Infamous 2K.
Hey,
yo, how y'all doing?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
It's been a little weird day, you know. I took a little nap when the report came out, so I didn't know until like 30 minutes after. But the whole coaching thing, right? Like, first I want to talk about the coach on why I say I don't want a college coach. The reason why I don't want a college coach is like even Nick Saban, who's like the greatest college coach of all time, came in the NFL and absolutely sucked. And that doesn't mean that he's a bad coach. It's just some coaches, and I was talking to my dad about this. Some coaches, when they come to the NFL, you don't have that same control, right? When you're in college, you have a certain edge above that person because they're still kids. You still have like if they're on scholarship, you can be like, I can take your scholarship away. When you get to the NFL, you can't do that. These are grown men. You have to treat them. It was kind of like Chip Kelly when he had the Eagles on that like little diet plan. You had to be inside at a certain time, and he tried to control the players, and that's why everyone hated him. So I'm not to say that college coach is gonna be just like that. I just don't want to take that risk, especially if you want to go for like the long haul.
Right.
Now, two reasons why I want Deuce. The first reason is Deuce. I feel like he's been waiting for so long for an opportunity like this. I feel like, as y'all were saying, at Alpha, he wants to do this. Like, he wants to like show everyone like why it was good to pick me. He has that. It's time to prove it type thing, that like other players might have or GMs. And I said this last time. I want a GM who like that, like Louis Riddick, who wants to come up here and actually fix the cap, wants to fix the draft picks and stuff like that. Another thing is now this is my personal stuff, but my dad knows. My dad actually knows offensive line coach, and that he's cool with Deuce. And Deuce said if he becomes a head coach, he'll have him on his staff with Stoutland. So maybe that's a little personal.
Hey, that would be. We going to your house. We watching the
game. So maybe that's a little personal. The whole thing is with Doug. I feel like Doug, like I know you heard that he feels at peace. He didn't have control over the roster and all that. And honestly, the thing is, I feel like Doug will be a good coach. I don't think he's gonna just go to a different team and just like stink or just suck. I mean, I won't be surprised. We won't be good, and I feel like almost everyone says this as long as Howie either has the control he has or if he's not gone, no matter who the coach is. So I mean, I really do hate Howie, man. I really do. And hate is a strong word. I really do not like him. Like he makes me so mad. Like why do you do this to your fans? Like, and the thing is with Lurie is. I think Lurie doesn't like since they're fans. I don't feel like how they go to the same synagogue and all that. I feel like that tension between them. If he was to fire him, there'd be like that little awkward tension. Like they see each other almost every weekend and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the main reason because they're like best friends. Now I think Press Taylor is gone because I think the only reason why Press Taylor was here was because of Doug. I feel like Press Taylor, the only reason why he had his job was because of Doug, and they were like best friends. Now that he's gone, I hope that he is gone. I don't know any quarterback. Do you guys know any quarterback like candidates like
Coaches.
quarterback coaching?
My thing is, I hope that they give whoever we get as a new coach to the power to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't give that to Doug. I mean, we did to a certain extent. He okayed everything in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't necessarily have the power to get the guys he wanted. But now we see maybe the guys he wanted weren't the best choices. You know what I mean? I want to ask you a question, though. I want to ask you a question, Famous, while we have you on here. I want to ask you, do you think, because I'm sure you saw most of or at least heard of most of the Jeffrey Lurie press conference when he was talking about Wentz and basically said it behooves us to, get him back to the, top tier talent that he was before. Do you think that kind of gives the implication that he's going to be going forward with Carson Wentz? And how do you feel about that if we are to go forward with Carson Wentz?
Okay, so one, I don't feel like that secures his spot in the team at all because again, in the same conference he did say he has nothing to do with who plays at quarterback. It's whoever the head coach is. So I don't feel like just because he said that, that's maybe his personal opinion that he wants him to come back, but whoever comes in may pick Hurts or may pick Wentz. So I don't feel like that really saves Carson Wentz. I feel like Doug getting fired is a bigger chance. I feel like, but like when I say bigger chance, I mean bigger chance of Carson Wentz staying, not someone getting rid of him. The chance of a coach coming here and getting rid of him is the same as the chance that Doug had the chance to get rid of Carson. But the chances of Carson staying is a lot bigger. If Carson does stay, it's hard because I don't think he can, and I said this multiple times. I don't think he can be great in Philly anymore, especially when he didn't come to like the media thing. When I don't, he grew up in a small town. He grew up playing in a small high school. He grew up playing in a small college where like not a lot of media attention and the fans weren't all that crazy passionate about football. So when you come into this season, especially now, like let's say we get a receiver with Smith, like Smith or Chase. Now all the eyes are on him, and personally, I don't think he's just that type of person, and that doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's just not for Philly. There's a lot of players that are good that wouldn't be good at Philly because our fan base and the media. So it's like I don't. If he gets a good receiver, his offensive line is there. He has Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert's there. Coaching is good. We changed the whole coaching staff. Everything is catered to him, and he does bad. I feel like it's all because of that pressure that he has to perform well in front of everyone, if that makes sense.
No, I definitely feel you. Did you have something to say, Brandon? I felt like I cut you off.
Dropped something. I don't remember at this point. I agree. I think the Philly media, I think you're right. The fact that he came from a small town, that's why everyone keeps also linking him with a team like the Colts. Like, don't get me wrong, the Colt fans in Indianapolis are probably huge Colt fans and everything, but Philly's known for their fan base and the passion / anger that can happen on a quick second where we go 0 to 100. 1 second we're loving you, the next second we're hating you. So it's definitely tough. You have to have thick skin. You have, like, we give McNabb crap sometimes, but you have to give him credit. The guy was booed when he was drafted and was able to bring guys like Todd Pinkston and Freddie Mitchell to the NFC championships multiple times. So
champ.
The thing is that I feel like there's also a plus side. I feel like Philly fan base is like a toxic like boyfriend girlfriend relationship. Like when we root for that player, I feel like that momentum because we're like when we root for a player, we root for a player. Just like the same way when we talk crap about a player, we go in. So I feel like there's always a plus side that if you can get through that booing and all that, and you start performing well, that automatically ups your play because the stadium is loud, everyone's cheering your name. Like I'm watching like old stuff like Carson Wentz is like running out the tunnel, hyping up the fans, hyping up him. I feel like that's a big confidence boost, and that when you have your fans booing after one game. And then you're like, oh, I gotta make it up, and then booing again. It just goes down. Your confidence just goes down and down and down, and that's why Philly's just not made for everyone. Now, real quick, I know this is not like Doug and all them, but I don't think we're getting a receiver first round. I'm gonna be totally honest. I keep looking at who's in front of us. I'm like, there's no way, because like I know what Jets fan.
I was just gonna ask you that before I get you off here because we do have a couple people actually behind you. I feel bad, but I wanted to ask you that because Jeffrey Lurie in the same press conference, I feel like that's going to kind of be a topic of the night. he said that he really wants to focus on this offense, that he felt like he wanted to prioritize this offense. That doesn't make you feel like we're going to be all in on wide receiver, because I don't really see any other offensive weapons that could help us that early in the draft. What are your thoughts about that? Both of you guys. I want to know from both of you guys.
Do you want me to go first or?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Okay, so here's the thing. No one in front of us is gonna draft the first pick is Trevor Lawrence. The thing is, I know a friend who's a huge Jets fan. He and I think I've told you this before. The GM is really big on Darnold. He's been playing a little bit better, so he might try to get a Penny Sewell to protect Darnold before he gets a new quarterback. Then if that happens, the Dolphins, they're gonna have to go Jamar Chase because first of all, I don't really know what they specifically need. Like what they specifically need on the team. I don't really follow the Dolphins. Maybe you guys know. But let's say whatever they need is not a high enough pick. So they go Jamar Chase, right? Then the fourth pick is Atlanta. They're probably gonna go Trey Lance or Justin Fields because Matt Ryan. But then the fifth pick, the Bengals, they need offensive linemen more than they need receivers. But the thing is, you don't pick a offensive lineman you could get in the second round with the fifth pick unless you're the Eagles. So it's like you don't know if the Bengals are gonna pick Smith because again that's the best player available. You don't want to waste your fifth pick on a person who has second round talent or late first round talent, or you can get with the 18th pick in the first round. So I feel like then they would have to go Smith. So then right then and there, it's like that's where the trading back thing comes back. It's like, okay, well, if we want to focus on offense, then we're basically gonna have to trade back because there's no pick appointing Waddle or Rashad Bateman with the sixth pick because they're not sixth pick talent. So if you're gonna pick with the sixth pick and those receivers are not there, you have to pick defense. So then if Lurie really wants to go all in on offense, you're gonna have to trade back to maybe like the 8th or the 9th, and nothing past the 10th because the Cowboys are at the 10th. So if you go back to the 8th or 9th, then you pick a Jalen Waddle or Rashad Bateman.
Okay.
That's
What you
it,
think?
if you want to go.
I think Jeffrey Lurie would be a fool to not take the best player available at that spot at number 6. If it's on, especially if it's on defense, we can get, like we've been talking about, a Micah Parsons or a Patrick Surtain, like dudes like those. Even if people say, "Oh, I've seen Surtain get beat," it's hard to play corner at any level, right? Because playing corner is it's tough. You can't really touch the wide receivers that much, and they're training these guys to basically be able to go untouched. But the fact of the matter is, he is a good player, and he's played at Alabama and played against top tier talent, and you can bring that in to pair with a guy like Slay to really teach him and everything, in order to be that number 2, and then you can have like Maddox or whatever in the slot. But you can't pass it up. You can't just hope that, all right, let's trade back and then draft like a Waddle or something. Like, we're not – the goal is to hopefully not have these top 10 picks, and that we need to just take the best player available if Smith and Chase go early, like you're saying.
Yeah, I've been on the plane. Go ahead.
Do you personally think Smith? I mean, it's hard, man. I don't think it'll be.
I think the Dolphins might take Smith if they're trying to keep Tua and pair him with someone that he knows.
But then the Bengals are gonna pick Chase then.
It's a possibility, or not, or they might trade out of their spot.
Yeah, my thing is the Bengals are in, and the Bengals, not the Bengals, the Dolphins are in a unique spot. I think that they should take the offensive tackle if he's there. I think that's an obvious pick for me just because you have a quarterback of the future. And if you're going to get, which I don't think they are, Watson, then you want to protect whoever your quarterback is at the end of the day. But they can trade back. They have no real reason to stay in that pick. And,
right.
You know, the Bengals, I feel like they're going to take the best player available just because I feel like they're actually a couple players away, if not 1 or 2. But either way.
There's quarterback-hungry teams that might take their spots, and next you know, Justin Fields and
exactly
the guy from BYU or whatever.
Yeah,
but the Dolphins.
Go ahead.
The Dolphins could draft a quarterback too. The Dolphins. I mean, if they're not, it's a low possibility.
I wouldn't see why they would. It would just be a dumb situation for them. For that, just trade back.
The Dolphins have been smart lately, and I don't think they would be that dumb to do that.
But either way, I'm gonna get you off here because we do got people behind you, bro. But you already know you're more than welcome to come back on, bro.
Always. Have a good one.
Yes,
Good
sir.
one.
God bless. All right, so we got Lindy Endzone coming on next. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I swear I'm trying to like actually get to these comments. But y'all killing it right now. I respect it. I did want to ask this to you before we get Lindy on here. How do you think Wentz will react to Doug being fired? And where do you think he's gonna sign Doug?
So I'm waiting to see something from Wentz and some of the other bigger name players on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I've seen like Nate Gary put something out, but I'm waiting for like a guy like Wentz to see what he says, if he says anything at all. Because if he goes the next week without putting something out there, that's just that says it all, just how their relationship was. So I don't think Wentz is safe by any means. I don't think it guarantees him a spot, but I could only imagine that maybe at least in his mind and in his mentality that all right, I'm getting a fresh start now. There's gonna be a fresh coach coming in, new system, and it could probably work in his favor. And I don't know what Wentz's kind of how he's gonna be worked into everything. Is he gonna be sitting with Howie and Jeff and talking to them about like what works for him and what he sees in like some of the candidates and stuff like that? I don't know if he's gonna have that power. I know Deshaun Watson's kind of upset that he didn't have that power, and that's why he possibly wants to trade. So I don't know if they're gonna let Wentz come in and try to have some kind of say in any of that. And then where will Doug sign? Is that what the question is? Yeah, Doug being fired, and where would he sign? I mean, everyone's saying the Jets right now because he has that connection with the GM over there, Joe Douglas, who used to be here in Philly. So that's a possibility. But there's a couple of teams out there that could use Doug. I mean, the Bears should fire Matt Nagy. I mean, that guy's not good at all and questionable decisions. So what they could do is replace one Andy Reid product for another one that at least goes to the playoffs and win games and wins the Super Bowl. So they would be better off with Doug than Matt Nagy. Or, I mean, there's a bunch of teams. The Chargers need one. So I don't know. If I'm a betting man, I'd put my money on the Jets right now. But there's some other teams that could use them.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a dive into the mind of a meme maker real quick. All right, what I'm seeing for Carson Wentz is him in an old school Cadillac, all the way back in the seat. You know what I'm saying? Driving like this. You know what I'm saying? And just playing gin and juice. That's what I see from Carson Wentz right now. Where do I think Doug Pederson will sign? The Colts. How does that feel? Now, all right, we're gonna bring.
Yeah,
Lindy.
right.
Everybody keeps saying every time somebody's gonna leave from the Eagles, it's the Colts. So I think he's going to the Colts. We'll say that. So let's get Lindy Endzone in here. What's going on, my guy? He is also a Eagles content creator. He is on his way up, so definitely go check him out.
Yes, sir.
Lindy, I wanna pose this question to you from CJ Bangle before anything. How do you think Wentz will react to Doug being fired, and where do you think Doug will sign?
I mean, it's still up in the air at this point of where we think Doug will go, but Brandon just brought it up, and it's very intriguing to me, and I hope a lot of people like think of this as a decent idea. Los Angeles Chargers have a pretty good foundation over there. I know Anthony Lynn wasn't very good from a coaching perspective. There was some issues that he was trying to work around, and maybe some of his termination wasn't necessarily justified in a sense. But you imagine, a Super Bowl winning head coach in Doug Pederson go to the Chargers with an exciting rookie into his second year. See where I'm picking up what guys picking up what I'm putting down here. An exciting rookie in Justin Herbert with pieces around him, a good defense. Hunter Henry's a decent tight end. You got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Who's their
Eckler is like a Sproles.
Austin. I'm telling you, that would be a fantastic place if he wants to build on the type of pedigree that he's established as the coach of the Eagles. The Chargers would be a good place for him, in my opinion, just to kind of have that familiarity with a past roster construction.
Right. So, I mean, now that we have you on here, everyone's going to get this question. Your thoughts of when the news broke that Doug was fired?
Well, I mean, I went on a quick little live on my channel. It wasn't very long because I didn't have much to say, but I knew as far as the fan base went, a lot of us were pretty conflicted on which side we wanted to take. Part of Doug Pederson's part of him parting ways with the organization, because I don't like to use the word fired or terminated because it can be harsh sometimes. But
yeah,
when he parted ways with the organization, some of it was due to his terms, and then some of it was due to how people in the front office, aka Howie Roseman, organized this football team for not even just 2020, but in previous years with how our roster itself was constructed. And you just go back to the press conference with Jeffrey Lurie today. There seemed to, man, I can't tell you how much blame deflection there was everywhere else but on the general manager, as if we just want to avoid let's not go back 10, 15 years ago and talk about draft success. Everybody in the fan base, they're like, what are we doing to correct this now? We don't care about 10 to 15 years ago. We don't care about that success. We want to know of success moving forward, because it's been abysmal the last few years. So I mean, it's crazy, dude.
When he said if you put up our record against the last 20 years, I'll put it up against any friend. Like, shut up, Larry. I'm sure you don't even watch the games at this point. I don't know what got into him, and kudos. Honestly, I've been ripping into Philly media lately because they've been kind of stretching a lot of truths. But I don't know, for those that have seen the interview press conference, that is like media 101. Those are the questions you ask. I would have liked a couple, of personal questions, but they asked some great questions, really put Lurie on the spot. And so kudos to them. But some of the stuff he was saying, he started it off so strong. But once he brought up, Howie's drafting history, it seemed like he was ready to fight. But
it just got irritating to him after a while, because it was a lot of similar questions that he was just beating around the bush with answers to. Especially supposedly Nate Sudfeld has the best deep ball of all the quarterbacks. I don't know where that came from, that he had to bring that up, but apparently Nate Sudfeld has the best deep ball.
That's not even a compliment.
Oh man,
that's a diss on everybody else.
I mean, we don't even know if Nate Sudfeld's still going to be here, so I don't know why we have to compliment this guy. I mean, I don't know how justified he even was putting him on the field against the Washington football team. You waited this long. I mean, if he was that good, as a backup, why did and you drafted Jalen Hurts? Well, if he was that good as a backup, why wouldn't you start Nate over Hurts if he's already accumulated this much NFL experience? It doesn't make sense.
One of the things he said, he didn't want to pass up like how they passed up on Russell Wilson when they drafted Nick Foles, but it's still, I mean, you have a starting quarterback. It just didn't make sense. It is what it is. Nope. That pick will never make sense. Like Joey Shake said the other day, even if he wins us a Super Bowl, it still didn't make sense to pick him when we picked him.
Unless he came with the Super Bowl. If like when you drafted him, they were like, oh, he's going to get you a Super Bowl. Like once you draft him, you got a Super Bowl. All right, that makes sense. It's not how football works, Howie. So it definitely does not make sense. And what was I going to say? I was just going to say, another thing that I like that he said is that he said, and I want to get all of your feedback on this. Lurie said that he thinks Philly is an attractive destination for a new head coach. So I would love to know what makes us an attractive destination. I just want to know where maybe you guys see it. Maybe I'm seeing something crazy. Are we an attractive? I hear crickets right now. So
like you said it earlier. One man's garbage could be another man's treasure, and another guy can come in and coach these guys and put the right scheme in place where, wow, that person's doing better and that person's doing better. Like, you just never know. Plus, Doug, unfortunately, didn't have all of our weapons. We didn't have Brandon Brooks. We didn't have a healthy Lane Johnson because he was battling that ankle injury literally all season. We didn't have Marquise Goodwin, who could have possibly been a good signing if he opted in, but he opted out. I mean, it is what it is. That's a personal decision. Deshaun Jackson was hurt all season. We saw his one big catch. I mean, Alshon was hurt all season because he had his surgery and everything like that with his foot. So there's just a lot going on that it just didn't play into Doug's hands at all.
Facts. And just to respond to this comment real quick, shout out to Pat's Nation Commentary. I guess they do live streams as well. And to anybody that's in, we got like 24 people in here. If you guys want to join, the link is in the comments or in the chat box, whatever. I'm old, man. It's where everybody's talking. That's where I put it.
Live chat.
There we go. It's in the live chat. So if you guys want to join, feel free to join. And so, yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Who, me? No, Lindy, yeah. I think you're up.
Yeah, Lindy, it's your turn.
Man, I almost lost my train of thought for a second. No, I mean, we've heard outside voices before. Even talking about Carson Wentz. I mean, when all the and it's still of relevancy because it's still recent, but with all the rumors of Carson wanting out and everything and whatever it may be, whatever it may come to, we heard guys like Sean Payton say that he would love to fix Carson Wentz. So there's still those kinds of coaches out there. I mean, too bad we can't kind of reel John DeFilippo back, but there's those guys, there's those coaches that are more than capable, and then have the amount of self-confidence to say that I just seen this quarterback not too long ago play at an elite level, and quarterbacks are due for bad seasons. It doesn't matter how good you are. The greatest of all time have had bad years.
Right.
This was Carson's time. This was Carson's time to have a bad season. So it's not like he's going to be terrible for the rest of his career. And I'm sure, somewhere out there that there's this guy, who's going to want to come into this with an open mind, that believes in the talent that we still have on this roster, even though it could use some tinkering here and there. I mean, you look at a guy like, I don't know, offensive coordinator suggestion at one point was Jim Caldwell. I mean, Jim has worked with Joe Flacco for a little bit. He's had Matthew Stafford for quite some time. So, a guy like that who's been around quarterbacks of a decent caliber, guys like that would have that confidence to want to come into this organization. Now, let alone with, this quote unquote power struggle that we have, how legitimate it is. That's the baggage that they're going to have to want to accept and work through at the same time.
I like that word tinkering, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to start using that more often.
I mean, if we're able to draft one of those top wide receivers, I mean, you kind of have some attractive young talent. I mean, you'll have one of the top 6 picks. You'll have Miles Sanders still. If you like to try to fix Carson, you can. Or you could run with Jalen Hurts, who was proven in college football, and he's only in his 2nd year. You have some stud pieces on the offensive line coming back, and you saw we did have some young talent on the offensive line that could hold their own. On defense, our defensive line is getting older, but if most of them are coming back, that's still pretty solid. We were still, I think, in the top 5 in sacks this season. So that says a lot, at least about them, no matter what their age is. Our linebackers, they need some work, but you find Singleton, TJ Edwards, maybe if we don't get a receiver, you get Micah Parsons, like stuff like that. Yeah, our DBacks do need some work, and McLeod's probably not going to be here, and if he is, he's going to miss the beginning of the season. But there's some pieces. I don't think it's as bad as looking at like the Browns when they were terrible, like when they were going through that drought of just being bad. We're not that bad. We're just like 2 tiers above that. Just but not like there.
Yeah, I mean, we have a. Oh, sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. If we do a tier list, we're probably like a tier up right now. Like maybe that's how I feel. But go ahead.
But no, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, Brandon. When you think about it, we do have the personnel at at positions to build around, and unpopular opinion, but Javon Hargrave is only 27, I believe, and whether people agree or not to the amount of money that he received, and I want to give this guy another year in a system with a brand new DC, see what he's made of. He dealt with the same type of offseason that the rest of the players did, coming from a 3-4 set to now a 43, and I think he kind of turned the corner towards the end of the season. So you got a staple there to work with Fletcher Cox. We don't know how long Fletcher is going to last. Him and Slay are the same age. They're both about 30. So and I was saying this in another Discord that I'm a part of. But I mean, for me, opinion wise, Slay to me has probably about like 3 good, fringe prime years left. And that is one of our biggest issues as far as depth on this roster is the secondary. Like, who's the next man up after Slay, let alone having a guy opposite him on the outside, to even play the cornerback spot. At least we have Hargrave. At least we still have Fletcher. We still have Slay. We're talking about Alex Singleton being a possible starter next year. He's got a partner in TJ Edwards. Hopefully Davion Taylor can continue to develop. To me, it was still a bit of a stretch taking a developmental linebacker in the 3rd round. I think guys like Akeem Davis-Geither were still available at that point. Now he's in Cincinnati. Looking pretty. He has his moments over there. So, I mean, and then offensive side of the ball, people want to bash our receivers so much, but they weren't. I got to tell you, they were not used right this year. I mean, when you look at John Hightower's tape from Boise State, why were we only featuring him on deep balls? He's basically, he's not great. He's not great, but he's good at everything that he brings to the table. So, a guy like that, Quez Watkins wasn't used enough. Yeah, he was in and out of the lineup. I get it, but when Jeffrey Lurie at the press conference today talking about we gotta start, and once again it's a broken record. We gotta get younger. We have to inject the youth. Well, 2020 was your chance to do that. You bring in Jalen Hurts, that kind of backpedals things. A developmental linebacker in the 3rd round, that backpedals things. The play design of the offense, that backpedals things. So when are we going to see this kind of transition that he's talking about when all we're continuing to do is go backwards?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we've all said this year. I feel like it's been a key topic this whole year is that these players aren't being used right, and we keep talking about all the players that have left and have been used right and how they're doing well, some flourishing, some having career years. So we're bringing that to Philly now, so we can't blame that no more. So this is going to be very interesting to see what we have on our roster, because what do we know? Maybe Michael Jacquet is something. Maybe he shouldn't be bagging groceries. Maybe the guy that we just got from the auto detailing shop, maybe he's good. We'll see what happens. But listen, Lindy, I appreciate you coming on here. I got some more people I got to get on here. I've been making everybody.
Absolutely,
yes, sir.
But
make sure you sell them up.
Yeah, but yet again, let's not misconstrue anything, everybody. Eagles Nation, we still got to thank Doug Pederson for getting us that Lombardi.
Yes,
his parting of ways, I get it, but at the same time, we did love him for being a player's head coach. There was just those extra things that a lot of us did not agree with. So
Right.
I wanted to thank Doug Pederson for getting us that Lombardi, and best of luck to his next chapter.
Yes, sir.
Have a great one, man. God bless.
Thanks, Joe. See you later.
Just to kind of piggyback off on that, just using players right. I feel like we haven't been using players right since we traded for Golden Tate, and our offensive coordinator at the time literally said, "We don't know what we're doing with him, but we're gonna figure it out." Like at that moment in time, and I think that was when DeFilippo and guys like the Colts head coach, I already forgot his name, left the team, and we've been struggling to really fit these guys in. So this has been something growing over time.
It's Frank Reich.
Frank Reich, yeah, I don't.
Everybody gonna start yelling at you. That's how YouTube goes now. I've been watching a lot.
Let them yell. He's not in Philly. I don't care.
I've been watching a lot more lives, so we can try and get so we can be hip, right? So that's what happens by yelling at you in the chat and everything. So, all right, so we got Honeycomb Jay in the building next. Then we got the infamous Braden. Everybody knows Braden. We're gonna get you on here, buddy. We got Let's Go Birds, and then we have Dennis Watson. So I see all of you guys. We're gonna get y'all in that order. But first, we're gonna start with my man Honeycomb Jay. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro? I got a couple minutes. I'm on break for work.
Hey,
all right. I
so
appreciate
started
it.
off.
Go ahead. So you take the floor, man.
All right. So I've been paying attention to this whole Doug Pederson thing. I think the Eagles made a mistake firing Doug Pederson. If you want my honest opinion,
let's hear it.
Like, I get why they fired him. I get it, but my thing is if you're gonna jump ship with Doug, you had to jump ship with Howie. Those two are tied at the hip. Like you can't have one have the other. That's my opinion. And if you were gonna keep one, I would have kept Doug over Howie, even though he would have brought in Press Taylor and all that stuff. I get it, but I said this before. I think with Doug, it's more of a trust thing than anything. Like he wanted Press Taylor just for the trust thing.
And I feel like Doug felt like he built something. You know what I'm saying? When he won that Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm just going off of kind of just my thought, but I feel like Doug felt like he built something, and I felt like he deserved more credit or more respect than he was getting. For him to say that he was just, or not for him to say, but for reports to come out that he felt like he was just tired of people telling him what to do, that says a lot. And that's something that we've been saying on this show a lot. You know what I'm saying? Is that it's hard to work in a workplace when your boss is consistently over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine Howie right behind you right now telling you, man, what are you doing on that? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't, no man is going to stand for that for too long, especially when you have the credentials now that Doug has. So do you think Howie's here for life? Is there anything Howie can do at this point? Like, you know what I'm saying? I never thought of this question, but like for both of y'all, is there anything he can do at this point?
I mean, regardless of people say, he is really good at the cap, and Jeffrey Lurie did make a point with what he said with when they were bringing in the talent and the two GMs that got hired in the NFL. The Jets, we got to hold on a little bit, but the Andrew Berry kind of turned the Browns around a little bit. They're in the playoffs now. So I kind of get that aspect of it. I mean, personnel-wise, he has to stay away. Jeffrey Lurie made this thing where he said, I'm paraphrasing, where he was like, I know what I know and I know what I don't know. Well, you got to know that Howie doesn't know how to draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I think he has to recognize that, and he has to make some changes with that. And I know this is going to go off the topic a little bit. I think with Howie still having control over personnel decisions is why Carson Wentz is being super, super quiet. I don't think it's about the Doug thing. I don't think he even wants to be here anymore. I don't think there's nothing they can do unless they get an Eric Bieniemy and they ship Jalen Hurts out of here. That's the only way that's going to keep him. But I think it was part Doug and part Howie. But yeah, no, Jeffrey needs to know that, all right, Howie, like, you can do everything else. Personnel, we'll leave that to somebody else.
Yeah, I think if we're at the 6th pick, right, and Jamar Chase is right there to be taken, and then Howie takes a day 2 wide receiver instead, just to say, yo, I took a wide receiver, guys. I took a wide receiver. And we end up passing on a dude that ends up having like a career year or something. I don't even know. Who knows if Jamar Chase is going to be that great, right? You just never know. You just hope with these top guys, but there's a good chance he's going to be solid in the NFL. And that's how I can see if he does something like that. And he was like, oh, yeah, it was my decision. I was really high on this guy. In college, he showed me well playing D2 wide receiver, and we had to take him right there. I knew we needed to. That's when I'd be like, oh, I would hope Jeff would be like, all right, see you later.
Yeah, and to ride off of kind of what you said earlier, Honeycomb J, when you said, he brought up Andrew Berry and he brought up there we go, Joe Douglas. He also brought up our new guy, and now I'm just like blanking on everybody's name, John Dorsey. He also brought up Dorsey, so that gives me at least the hope, a little bit more hope that maybe Howie's not going to be drafting. He did also say that he was talking about how he missed a lot of people on the draft, and he was like, well, it was 3 people that they wanted and they missed the all-pro in front of them. How about the 10 all-pros you missed behind them? How about that? So it's just like that. You see a lot of good things. He said a lot of good things, but he also just kind of reiterated that there's no type of accountability when it comes to once you hit GM, you're good. That's what I'm getting from them. So are there any head coaches that you're looking at, or even defensive coordinators, anybody you got on your radar?
I mean, personally, I would want Deuce, but I don't think that's the route they're gonna go. I think right now, I think Howie is doing everything he can to get Lincoln Riley out of Oklahoma. I feel like that would you really? I wouldn't love that move at all.
I would love that, but it would be he can teach. That's why I would love that. And I even said I said earlier that I want Larry Johnson. And I might be wrong on his last name, but he's the OSU defensive line coach and he's the assistant head coach over there right now. This year he became their assistant head coach. And the reason why I want people like that is because I want someone that can teach. I want someone that if we're gonna suck, that's fine. I'm okay with being bad, but we have to develop these players. And Jeffrey kind of hinted towards that a little bit. And I'm cool with that. If we are rebuilding, and look at what the Dolphins kind of did. And now they kind of lucked into being a good team. I don't want to say lucked in. They're playing well. It is what it is. But they went the route that, hey, we're gonna not tank, but we're gonna rebuild for a year or two. We're not gonna be the greatest team. And look where they are now. You have to have the correct coaches for that. You have to have people that are into to teach and not necessarily coach to win. And I kind of feel like that was where the disconnect for Doug and Jeffrey Lurie came. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But I do like Lincoln Riley. You don't like Lincoln Riley?
Oh, I think that's snake. I think that's a snake oil salesman.
Yeah, I feel like that's the nature of college football, though. To be honest, but go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I don't believe in Lincoln Riley, but I think Deuce is the right move to make. People are saying Mike Kafka, which I kind of get because he can be a kind of a puppet type thing. I think that's what they want, right? I think they want somebody that they can tell what to do. Like, hey, like you worry about whatever we give you. And you make us the meal. We'll give you the ingredients. You make us the meal. That's all we want. We don't want we want no one butting in our operation. We just do yours.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, but to that extent is that their things didn't work. I mean, if Doug was a puppet per se, it didn't work already. So if that's what they're really looking for, well, just be prepared for some bad seasons ahead, guys. Be ready for that storm. Winter is coming.
Yeah, but I can kind of get why they feel like they're the way their formula works, because if I'm not mistaken, they were the ones who brought in Schwartz. They were the ones who brought in Reich. They were the ones who had DiFilippo there, if I remember correctly. So and that little unit brought them a Super Bowl. So I kind of get what they're saying, but at the end of the day, man, you got to let a coach be a coach, especially when they won a Super Bowl. Once they won a Super Bowl, it's hands off. You got to let them run the operation.
for a little while at least. And my thing with, and I made a video about this earlier. I was like, we might see Doug get more power just because it's like you don't really know what's going wrong if you have your hand in the pot the whole time. You know what I'm saying? If you're not letting the man, if you're not letting the chef cook, then you can't really tell me if his food's good or not. If you had your hand in it the whole time. So it's like, we don't know what Doug is. Doug might go somewhere and be great. You know what I mean? Doug might go somewhere and be terrible. Let's, just like you said, let's not forget who the front office did bring in, and let's not forget who Doug wanted to keep. I mean, Press Taylor is probably the worst thing that, for an offensive coordinator. The best thing about him being an offensive coordinator is that he wouldn't be our quarterback's coach. That's the only thing I could take out of that, positively. So to say that, and then he wanted Matt Burke, which is another, it's whatever. It's kind of basically like, he was basically saying, let's just restrap and go right back to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all he was going to do. And I feel like Jeffrey Lurie is saying, no, let's look towards the future. So I'm happy about that. But there definitely are some things I'm a little bit worried about. So what are you looking for next? What do you think is going to happen next?
I think we're going to get a report with Carson Wentz saying, I don't care. I'm getting out of here. I don't think he wants to be here because the media kind of twisted between a Carson and Doug thing. But we got to remember who has control of personnel and who was the guy who drafted Jalen Hurts. And that's the part that people aren't like, they forget. Like, this is, us Eagles fans, we know that this is how he's doing. So I think in the next couple of weeks, you'll start to hear head coaching, who we're going to hire for head coach, we're going to more likely hire for head coach. But I think in a couple of weeks we're gonna find out, hey, Carson doesn't want to be here no matter what we do, because it's still kind of telling that Roseman brought Zach Ertz and he was like, oh, what can we do to bring Carson back? When you thought when everyone outside of outside of the Eagles nation kind of thought it was just the Doug thing, so it's like, oh, if we fire Doug, Carson will come back. There's a reason why Howie went to Zach and say, hey, how can we bring him back?
Yeah, and it might even just be to rework that contract. Let's talk about this. I mean, if we need to get him out of here, then that's one conversation. But if we're willing to work with him, that's something that I think we're gonna have to fight through. And if it's not just a Doug situation, it's gonna get really muddy. It's gonna get really muddy.
Yep.
I don't see anybody trying to come in here and be good. You know what I'm saying? Or be bad, I should say. I'm sorry. I don't see any coach that's on the rise like a Bieniemy or even a Lincoln Riley. I don't see them coming in here and being like, yeah, I'm down to, suck for a couple years. So
right. No one's trying to do that. They're trying to build their brand.
Exactly. This is bigger than just a head coaching job than and if you come to Philly, we're not going to give you those years. That's the scary part. You're going to come here and get yelled at for 2 years when we know you're going to suck.
Right.
That's the thing, man. You got a quarterback controversy, over the cap by I forgot how many millions, and we got the craziest fans on earth. If you had one bad year, so you're gonna go, you fired Doug for this guy. So
exactly, it's gonna be a wild season, man.
Yes, sir.
Wild season.
I gotta get back to work.
All right, man. Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Hey, man. Thank you. Fly Eagles fly.
Yes, sir.
God bless.
Go grab a phone charger real quick when you bring in the next person.
Oh yeah, take your time. Take your time. I'm gonna read some of these comments real quick while you go. Shout out to Pats Nation. Shout out to everybody that is in the chat. So next we got Braden, then we got Dennis Watson, then we got Let's Go Birds HD, and then we have someone without a name. I don't see your name. Just says, please let me in. We will let you in. I promise. Shout out to everybody that is in the chat. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 1K. We are like 11 away. Bars. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So we're going to get my guy in here while we wait for Brandon to come back. He's going to be my co-host while we wait for Brandon. What's going on, Braden?
Yo, what?
My guy.
Up?
I appreciate you. You always in the
gonna
back.
be a good day too, because the Nets are gonna lose. Oh, good.
We beat you guys though. That's all that matters. We beat the Sixers. I can finish my seat. The Nets can finish their season
Did you
now.
see my comment? What about me for head coach? What about me? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
we
a
should have
different
you as
coach.
head coach. We should have you as head coach. So, how are you feeling about
I
Doug
would
Peterson?
draft Jalen Weddle because
Okay.
physical. He can be physical. He's fast. He can be physical. I literally just watched a video on his tape. He coming off that injury, but before that, he was top 5 pick. Like, he's a beast. I think we should select him.
You would take him over Jamar Chase?
Yeah, I don't like Jamar Chase. I want a fast receiver, and he's a mixture of fast and physical. So.
Did you watch Jeffrey Lurie's press conference today?
Nah.
No. So
I was on another call-in show when it was airing. So.
Yeah, look at you. You're a star. You got to make your rounds, man. I appreciate you taking your time. Hanging out with little old me. But
I think.
Go ahead.
And I think we should select Lincoln Riley because he has worked with Jalen Hurts. He knows how to coach him. He knows what to do with him. He knows how to play with him. Like, he knows he knows what plays are good for him and what plays don't work.
So with you saying that, Braden, do you want Hurts to be the starter next year? I don't know if you said this.
Yes. Wentz should be out of here right now. I heard of the news in school. My phone was blowing up, and I heard about it in school.
So yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Was gonna be Wentz or Hurts, but I mean, I guess you answered it with emphatic.
Like, obviously, like whoever wants Wentz, you can just scooty on out of there.
Wow.
You're not a true Eagles fan. Hurts.
So what are your thoughts on defense, on defensive coordinator? Are there any names you're looking at?
Nah.
No,
Really.
we don't even need a defensive coordinator. We're gonna hire you as our head coach, and then you're gonna run our offense and our defense.
And then I'll hire you as defensive coordinator.
There it is.
See,
And you as a special teams coordinator.
I don't know if I trust him, man. We're gonna have to talk.
I played special teams too. I have an idea.
We're gonna have to talk about that off stream. I'm not sure about these coaching decisions already, Braden. I'm not too sure. I'm just kidding. But so what do you thoughts about next year? Do you think next year is gonna be a rebuild year?
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think they'll go with. I think they'll go with Deuce Stanley, but I want them to get Lincoln Riley. I think it will be a rebuilding year. We'll go somewhere 6-10, 5-11.
6-10, 5-11. I'll take that. So you said you wouldn't want Deuce? Why wouldn't you want Deuce?
No, I want.
Oh, you do want Deuce.
I want both Lincoln Riley and Deuce. Those are my top 2.
Okay.
Today is a great day for the Eagles. I don't know.
It is. It's also a great day because tonight, national championship, I'm cheering for Bama. Bama's going to win 28-14.
Hey, we might have a head coach out there drafting or coaching tonight, so got to keep a close eye on. Yeah, I'm definitely good.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it starts pretty soon. So before we get you off of here, what's your final thoughts? What are your final
I have a couple
thoughts on
things.
Doug being gone?
Who
Go ahead.
do you think we should select in the draft?
You want to take it first, Brandon?
Yeah. I say you take the best player that comes at that number 6 spot. You stay at 6. If you want to do some trading for more picks, do that in the later rounds.
Get Jalen Weddle.
I don't know about that, but I will say if Chase or Smith's not there, I would go with Jamar Chase or Patrick Surtain.
If Jalen Weddle is the greatest player of all time, you have to give me credit for believing in it.
You know what?
Yeah, we'll go back to this. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. This is not going anywhere. So we will definitely come back to this if you are right. But I'm saying Parsons. I'm saying Micah Parsons now. Saying Micah Parsons later.
I like Micah Parsons, but seeing Jalen Weddle and his tape, I like Jalen Weddle.
I like Jalen Waddle not at number 6, not for this team. I feel like we have about 5 or 6 different type of Jalen Waddles right now, and it's
Right.
we need
great.
something different. Yeah, we
With
need
the
the Jalen's that we have on our
with
team.
a new head coach that can actually develop, hopefully, we can maybe develop him to a god, like a beast.
Hey, hopefully we can develop somebody. Hopefully this new coaching staff can develop
Jalen
somebody.
Rieger. Hope we can develop Jalen Rieger.
That would be great.
I'll take anybody. I'll take Hightower. I would love to see J-Jaw get more than 5 catches next year.
And yeah, I think this team is. I think that I did see that this team does like. This team's going into rebuilding mode. Jeffrey Lurie said it himself. This team's going into rebuilding mode, like for the next 3 years.
It's a possibility, but you just never know. I mean, the young guys might come in hungry with a chip on their shoulder. You got a new coach, might be new
I
motivation.
do have to say that Doug Pederson did a lot for us. He won a championship, but I think Doug will go to the New York Jets. I have Doug going to the Jets, then then going to the Jags, and then retiring.
Okay.
And then I have him retiring.
Hey, I see us. Listen, I think next year is going to be a beautiful year for us. I'm going to be very optimistic and unrealistic. We are going to have a great year. We're going to go back to the Super Bowl. We're going to forget all about this year. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I dreamed it. I swear. But Braden, before we get you on here, do you have any or off here, I should say? Do you have any last words for Eagles Nation?
Yes, go Eagles.
Hey.
Get it.
All right, brother. I will see you later,
And
man.
also, never gonna lose all the rest of their games.
Wow.
Don't to do that to me, man. Don't make me go get my Nets jersey, man. Don't make me go get
I have my Sixers sweatshirt on.
I should have brought my Nets jersey. Well, you come to one of the Nets lives and we'll hash
it. In the Nets live, I said ready to lose.
No, I pinned your comment because you the man, bro. But who won that game?
You did because
you know.
I really don't have an excuse. So.
Yeah, I don't think I do. But Braden, have a good night, brother.
I'm calling it 1,000-0.
Oh, I don't see that happening. We'll see. We'll see. But you have a good night, Braden. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you,
Go Eagles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And shout out again to everybody in the chat. Much respect, much love. Appreciate everybody being so patient with us. I don't know how to get people off. I just like letting people talk. You know, I like to let people vent. And then next thing I know, we're an hour and a half in and I got people waiting in the back room trying to beat me up. But it is what it is. It feels like high school again. Everybody wants to get mad. But let's get it. So the next person we got is Dennis Watson. Thank you for being patient. What's going on, my man? How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are y'all?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream, man. So are you an Eagles fan? How are you feeling about Doug Pederson?
Of course, I'm an Eagles fan. Avid Eagles fan.
You never know.
I wouldn't come on here if I wasn't. You should remember. Hey, look, I've talked to you a couple times on Freshers Live. I'm the one always laying down.
Yeah, okay, now I remember you. I feel like I remember the voice, but how are you feeling, man? How you feeling about these Eagles?
Hey, look, man. First of all, we a mess right now, but we've been that all season. We like the new Cowboys right now, man. We like the Jerry Jones show. You know what I mean? but look, let me say something. I'm not too worried or feel bad about Doug leaving. Look. I'm a person that likes to analyze and break down things. Like, I'm not that average Eagles wild out fan. Like, I look at stuff, man. I've been looking at the infrastructure and just everything in general, man. Like, look, here we go, man. Look, I'm gonna probably receive a lot of backlash. Let me say this before I say what I'm about to say. I appreciate Doug Pederson for what he did. Brought the Super Bowl. I get it. It wasn't all him, but I believe Reich had just much as participation as he did. But I'm gonna say this though. I think we give Doug too much credit, man. Like here's how I see it. All right, first of all, I'm gonna answer this question first. I take Wentz over Hurts. I'm sorry. Wentz has the bigger upside than me. Hurts, if you really think about it, he played 4 games. He won one. That game shouldn't even have been won because if they played defense like they did in the second half and the first, he'd be 0-4. And the Cardinals, what stats if you ain't got a dub? You feel me?
Fact.
Stats mean nothing if you ain't got the dub. And you played the Cowboys, the worst defense, and they made you look like that. And then on top of that, the Washington game, he was 7 for 20. So how is he a better quarterback even when he's using his legs, but your completion percentage is still worse than Wentz's?
He gets the rookie card, He gets the rookie card.
But he don't get that because they had him as the second coming, man. Come on, bro. Let's call it for what it is.
Eagles fans, I love us, man. It is what it is. And I'm guilty of this as well. Don't get me wrong. We sometimes overhype and get a little bit too excited about these players after a little while. But I will say this. Doug was not calling good plays even for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was succeeding. He was succeeding mostly really, because defenses obviously didn't know anything about him. But
exactly.
He was also succeeding because of his legs and because he's an athlete. He's a football player. You know what I'm saying? And he did not go in there with a broken mentality of I'm only here because. He went in there and he said I'm here. So, I give him credit there, but I do agree with you that we did overhype him. We started bringing the rosaries and everything a little bit too early.
Something like that.
Is he frozen or me?
No, that's him.
Doug gave him.
Is it frozen for you too? I always think it's just. I think you frozen right now. You're like chopping up.
Just you bobbing to it.
Yeah, I was like, it sounded like a remix, like a hip hop. Like cutting up.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Hey,
Now
there
we go. Oh.
All right. Look, here's another thing.
Oh, and it just kicked him out.
Better.
All right, there we go. He's back on.
Hey, you there?
All right.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm here.
There it is.
All right. They gave Hurts a running game, and he still didn't put up better stats than Wentz.
Right.
I mean, they didn't give him a running game, though. They did not give him a running game. He gave him a running game. I mean, Miles Sanders was just running 17 times, 15 times, 14 times. They weren't really changing. Doug did not change that game plan at all. He did not change that game. In the first one, you can kind of say he did against the Saints. The Saints was a little bit more in like the first half, at least, was very, pass heavy. But other than that, he did not put any player outside of. He did not put any player at all in any type of, opportunity to win. He didn't put him in a position to succeed at all. So I agree with you. Like I said, that we were a little bit overhyped about Jalen Hurts, but Jalen got the same thing that Wentz got. I feel like that's my opinion.
But it goes to show it wasn't the quarterback.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Hey, that can
you
be
hear
why Pederson got fired.
Right. Now, here, look. Now, pick this out. We give Doug too much credit, too. This is one thing that bothers me. All right, we went to the Super Bowl. I get it. Wentz got hurt. But they saying he won with a backup quarterback. Come on, bro. Foles was far from a backup quarterback, bro. He established himself. He was one time, bro. He broke records in Philadelphia. It's not like they had some rookie or some scrub that just came in or whatever. He was already back. It just happened backup quarterback at the time. So we give him too much credit for that too.
Yeah, and even
that facts.
yeah, even Nick Foles said that he attributes most of him getting his game back from to Frank Reich. So I mean, I like Brandon said it earlier in the show. I have not heard many people, saying goodbye to Doug or saying we're gonna miss you, Doug. I haven't seen any, Facebook, Twitter, nothing. So, it speaks volumes to who he really was to this organization.
Right.
He was the guy that brought the Haagen-Dazs. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, exactly. You made an exact point about Nick Foles. Nick Foles was in a backup role, but he was a starting quarterback in a backup role. He didn't pan out in other cities, but that doesn't take away from the fact that when he was here with Andy Reid, when he was here with Chip Kelly, he had decent years before he got hurt. We made it to the playoffs with him before. So to sit there like, oh, he's washed or he's a backup quarterback, just that was a narrative that became created because he was in that role. But like you said, bro, you're right. You're 100%. He was a starting quarterback in a backup role.
Shout out to the Sixers. I guess they're
right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not people that wasn't adapted with into a team that was already kind of put together and some of the pieces put together, but still, if he from scratch, I would give the credit that they give him.
Right.
Kind of stepped into something that was already put together, like. But I mean, it is what it is, you know what I mean? But like, I just wanted to put that on record because people are blinded by this. What's that?
Yeah, no, I'm saying hopefully whoever this new staff is can get it together.
And here's another thing too. The next person that comes in, which I agree with y'all, Deuce should be in there. You know what I mean? He should be in there. Like, they asked Jeffrey about that too, about a person of color. And like he kind of like danced around it or whatever, but you know what I mean? Even still, I think Deuce, because he has familiarity with the players already, like y'all stated, he kind of knows what they expect or whatever like that, and he's player friendly like Doug was. Like everybody loves Deuce, so I think it only makes sense. Only thing he needs is somebody like as a passing coordinator, because I don't think he's so much acclimated with that point. You know what I mean? So he's going to need an OC.
I don't want no more like random coordinators. You're either an offensive coordinator, a quarterback coach. You are going to be a regular job. On the chart, I don't want to hear about it. I'm so, I understand what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, and I agree with you, but God, am I tired of these weird names. I am so tired of just made up job titles.
Right. If we can get even if, like you said, you promote Deuce and you get yourself actually a good offensive coordinator or someone that's at least new and creative, you don't need Deuce to call the plays. He doesn't need to be Doug Pederson. He can be the guy that everyone just respects, listens to, and follows his system. But if you get an offensive coordinator that comes in where Deuce can be like, no, we're going to run the ball maybe a little bit more than we did in the past, but you come up with like the plays and all that, that's completely fine. I don't need a head coach that's involved in every little thing, because that's what you pay those coordinators to do.
Exactly. And it could work. It could work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been around long enough to know.
Right.
But we need to be better on it.
I don't know who Deuce is. So I get nervous when you're in positions like this, that you're in like a, this could change the next 2 or 3 years, or it could change the next 10 years. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So I get nervous. I don't want another coach after this. But it seems like we're just going to pick somebody that's going to get fired in 2 years. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Is he breaking up again?
I mean, honestly, I would want Benny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want Benny, to be honest. But you know what I mean? But, if they do it, I understand if they choose Dukes. But what we really need though is developmental staff though, to be honest. That's where everything is gonna be key. Because we're bad in that area for a long time, bro. We've had many good players or possible players leave and pan out other places. That speaks volumes. So who's to say that we have been drafting bad? It's the fact that can we develop them?
Exactly. That's a very good point. But listen, Dennis, I'm gonna get you off here. I got like 2 more people. I'm gonna get on here and then we're gonna head off. We almost at 2 hours. I didn't even look at the time. But brother, I appreciate you coming on here. We did on Fresh's channel, so it's pretty cool. I appreciate that you came back to the channel. We did the Fresh Live, so I appreciate it.
Oh, no doubt. Yo, I thank y'all for having me on here, man. And like, yo, look, we all in this together. Let's keep our heads up and get this thing going. And God bless both of y'all.
Thank you, man. God bless you. God bless. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Ooh, that was my fault. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm too quick with it's so sensitive. The mouse pad is so sensitive. But God bless, bro. I appreciate you coming on here. Like he said, man, we are all in this together.
Yep.
You know, I feel like we're at feel like it's a pandemic. You know, last year we had what we had. This year we have the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Philadelphia Eagles 21. That's what we're gonna name this. And it sucks, man. But like I said, I just want to say this real quick. I love Deuce. I'm not a Deuce hater, but I'm not sold on him as a head coach. We were just talking about him as we were just talking about him as an OC. Now I feel like, you know, this when you meet a good girl, and I know we got some younger viewers, so take these gems as you can. Listen, when you meet a good girl, you take her out on some dates. You figure out what she's about. You don't just marry her off the bat. And I'm nervous that that's what we're gonna do with Deuce. We don't know who he is, so I'm not.
Really the organization does. He's been there forever. He was actually. We were talking about
doing what? That's my thing. Doing what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We were just saying maybe Deuce for head coach before hiring Doug Pederson.
They were, and I think back then I was on it. I was on the board, but it's just like now we see everything unraveling. So it's like I don't know who's done anything. I don't know who's had any say in anything. So it's
nobody.
Life is just unraveling for me right now. But we got Let's Go Birds HD. I don't know if he's still there. If he is, I'll let you on. We'll let you on to see if he's still there. Are you still there? I don't know. His mic says it's muted, so maybe I muted it. No, yeah, he muted it. So all right, we'll get the other person in. Just says, please let me get in. We got you. How's it going? How's it going? How are you feeling about this season? Talk to me about Doug, actually. I'm sorry.
I think Doug Pederson, he did decent this season with winning like 4 games. He was winning 4 games, but I think it was good that we fired him because we need a new head coach. And I think we should hire Joe Brady because he was LSU's defensive coordinator in 2018.
I've heard some Joe Brady chat. I like that one. Thank you. I'm glad you brought him up. I have heard some Joe Brady talk. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he part of one of Bill Belichick's staffs too? I could be off.
I think he was.
I believe he was part of one of Bill Belichick's staffs as well. I wouldn't be mad at that. I feel like I feel like Jeffrey is looking towards more of an offensive minded head coach. That's just kind of vibe I got from his press conference. But he didn't say, you know, that's what he wanted. He didn't say that he wanted a defensive. He said he was open-minded to whatever. I like Joe Brady. I really do like Joe Brady. And I want to go the college route, if I'm being honest. And you let me know what you think about this, both of you guys. But I want to go the college route simply because I want somebody that can teach these young guys. And that's something we've been saying all show. We got to get somebody that can really develop this talent. So that's really where I'm at. Like, what are you guys looking for in a head coach? Like, you know, characteristics.
And I hope we draft Jamar Chase and Patrick Surtain III by trading Carson Wentz
to the Colts for Quentin Nelson because I think Carson Wentz could succeed in Indianapolis because Phillip Rivers might retire after this season, and if the Colts get Carson Wentz, they'll have a middle-aged QB that can help them, and then we'll have a new offensive lineman that can help us. And then we should try and trade Lane Johnson to the Jets for their second pick to get Patrick Surtain the third.
Yeah, man. If you can make these trades happen, I would. If you can come here and play Madden for me real quick, because I like these trades. I would take these trades. I don't know if we're gonna get that type of value out of our players. To be honest with you,
we need to clear cap space.
Yeah.
And we need to fire Howie.
Yep, and hire you because you got some good trades brewing.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, and everybody in the chat, if you're feeling the same way, if you're like, bro, we need to fire Howie, it's kind of a coincidence because I do have Fire Howie merchandise right on sale right now. Be sure to go to the Teespring store and go cap you some, but I just had to throw that in. Shameless plug.
Your show. Plug your show.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
And can I shout out my TikTok, please?
Yes,
What's
sir.
your TikTok?
NFL_fire_memes.
Hey, all right.
Let's check out his TikTok.
Everybody go follow his TikTok. Make my man's TikTok famous. I have a TikTok too. I'm never really on it, to be honest with you. I don't really know how to TikTok, but we're trying. I'm trying new things. So, but hey, man, I appreciate you. So, what's your actual name? Not please let me in. I'm assuming.
My name's Gavin.
Gavin. So, Gavin, thank you so much.
My grandfather played for the Eagles.
Really? Who's your grandfather?
Bucko Kilroy.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Hey, if your grandfather ever wants to, you tell him about
died in 2007, though.
All right, well, yeah. So never mind. That's cool though. That's awesome. So you got green in your blood. You were born a Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show. We're gonna get the last person on here, but I appreciate you coming on and dropping some knowledge for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night. God bless.
Bye.
Oops. My bad. I told you this trigger finger, bro. Don't get me mad.
What no one's talked about is I guess one of the things I'm kind of excited about a new head coach is to see if it is our training staff or the way Doug ran practice as to our injuries and everything like that.
That's a really good point. I did not think of that. I would love to see us not get injured for a season. That would be amazing.
Right?
But no, it's true. And if we're going to fire this staff again, because, last time when we got rid of Chip, we fired his whole staff. Then when we won a Super Bowl, we fired his whole staff. So, it'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
If someone in the comments said we don't deserve Jalen Hurts, I've seen plenty of comments that said we don't deserve Carson Wentz. So who do we deserve? We deserve Nate Sudfeld or Josh McCown or something?
Listen, the Eagles don't deserve
we don't deserve nobody.
The Eagles don't deserve Philly the podcast. We're too good to them. All right. So we have our last guest for the night. Shake it out, Brandon. Shake it out. We almost had 2 hours, man. I appreciate everybody that, chilled with us, kept it rocking, man. I think we're over like 100 something views, man. So be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends and subscribe because we're only 11 away. We're 11 away from 1,000. So there's 12 people in here. Are you all subscribed? I don't think you are. So, anyways, I know one person that's subscribed, and he is a fellow Eagle creator. Oh, did I just go away? I'm back though, right?
You're there.
Yeah, so he's a fellow creator. Let's go, Birds. What's going on?
Bro, before I say anything, YouTube, why? Because I did not get a notification for the stream. Because I was just scrolling down my YouTube and I saw you live streams. I was like, wait, he's live? I didn't get a notification for that. But anyway.
YouTube hating.
Yeah. But anyway, I made a video on Eric Bieniemy. I think and look at the running backs he's managed over the 10 years he's been here. Wendell Smallwood, who I think wasn't that bad. Kenyon Barner, Wendell Smallwood, Darren Sproles. There's more good ones or half good, that were here. And I think if he was elevated, to offensive coordinator, and let's say we do get Eric Bieniemy, then our offense is like really set, because Eric Bieniemy is an offensive mind. Look at what he did with the Chiefs, and then look at Deuce Staley with the running game. That would be the greatest combo ever.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I mean, if we can get Bieniemy, that would be beautiful. It just depends on who's going to come as our staff. If we're going to keep Deuce, then it's going to be interesting, just because Deuce, if I'm Deuce and I got to stop saying his name because I'm going to get demonetized. But if I'm Deuce Staley, right, and you bring a new head coach after I made it all the way to the top rung of whatever assistant head coach is, and now you got another head coach, I highly doubt he's going to keep that assistant head coach name if he's even on the Eagles next year. So it's a power dynamic, just like we see with Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. When you're that guy, it's kind of hard to give it up to somebody. But I would love for them to see them coexist. I just don't know if he thinks offensive coordinator is a demotion.
Right.
What do you think, Brandon?
I honestly think that if he's going to be promoted, demoted, whatever, lateral promotion to offensive coordinator, I think that'd be better off for him, because then he'll actually I feel like he'd be more involved, because even with his name of being an assistant head coach, I just feel like he's still just the running backs coach. There's nothing where I see him like on the sideline in Doug's ear calling plays. There's no zoom on him with like talking to players and the mics or anything like that. So it's just like I only see him talking to the running backs, just talking up to the running back. So I think moving to offensive coordinator would be better off, not only for him, but for him. So it would help him build up his resume and actually say like, yes, I called some plays. Yes, I was helping coordinate this offense, and I wasn't just doing running back drills and like picking ones that end up being in like the combine or something. Like, the guy's a great coach. I want to see him flourish. I mean, other players wouldn't come out and say he was a good coach if they didn't mean it.
Yeah, I mean, whoever our offensive coordinator is, I'm gonna say this now before it actually happens and everybody goes crazy, because this is exactly what's gonna happen. If he's top 20 in offense, oh, look how much better. We are like number 32 or 31 right now in offense, or not right now, but at the end of the season, we were like 31st in offense. Anybody can make this team look better. If you make this team look worse, you will never have a job again. So, right. I mean, anybody's going to come in here and get the benefit of that at least. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting. And like they were saying in the interview, I said this earlier, that he was saying that he wants to prioritize the offense. So let me ask you this. Let's go Birds. What do you think we are going to do at the number 6 pick? Oh, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Did we lose him? We might have lost him. All right, well, hey. We might have. I don't know what's up with StreamYard today. So earlier, I have to say this. So earlier, I put up a video this morning. I told you, right? Yeah. I uploaded it at like 10 o'clock. When I tell you, when I uploaded my video of Doug getting fired, it was still uploading my other one.
Did you cancel?
So I don't know what's up with. Yeah, I canceled it. But I don't know what's up with YouTube today. I don't know what's up with StreamYard today. Nothing wants to work for us. I feel like whoever's running StreamYard is running the Philadelphia Eagles, because both are broken right now. So it is what it is, though, man. I'm sure we'll get him on the next stream. But look, I appreciate everybody that is in the chat right now, still chilling. Everybody that liked the video, everybody that chilled for the past 2 hours. This isn't going to get better. It's not going to feel any better tomorrow. Nobody's going to get hired that's going to come and miraculously save this. But we're still going to bring y'all content. We still going to keep going there, man. We're not going to cry on camera, but
not yet.
Not yet, at least. Not yet, at least. So you got anything you want to say to these people before we get out of here, Brandon?
Nah, appreciate you guys sticking with us. And tell your friends, tell your family. If you have other cousins that are Eagles fans, we're close to 1K. Help us get there. You guys already got us this far. Help us get 11 more people. And that's it.
11. You guys don't know 11 people? I don't know 11 people, but y'all should. Y'all way more, popular than I am. Look, but do you feel it coming on? It's the shameless plug time. If you are happy that Doug Pederson is gone, be sure to go hit the links in the description. Help us pay to keep these lights on. Dumb Doug. I'm Dumb Joe. That's Dumb Doug. His shirts are available right now. So go on over to the Teespring, and all you got to do is just type in teespring.com/Doug Tanks. So Doug Tanks, and you will get to the Dumb Doug merchandise. If you want Fire Howie merchandise, which is also ready right now. So you just got to go to teespring.com/QB Factory. That is /QB Factory. Love you all. Thank you so much. And other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It's Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here. Peace.